Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome as we are getting started with our skill struck coding spooktacular. Okay, I'm just missing okay, spooktacular. Okay, we'll do that. Welcome, everyone. We're still letting a few people in, so please, there are some quick instructions here that will stay up for a few minutes on how to add a costume on a video filter. So if you'd like to join, you want to turn on your screen, please do. Or if you already have on your costume, of course, please join. We will get started in a few minutes. And as people are coming in, we do want to get to know everyone and where you're from. So if you don't mind just putting your name, the name of your district and your state, that would be awesome. So just say, hey, the name, district, state, and get to know people from all around the country. Let's see. If I show the chat, is gonna. Can anyone see the chat? Okay. Let's see. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody? We will be getting started with our coding spooktacular here very shortly. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We truly appreciate it. I was just mentioning, if you want to join and turn on your cameras, please feel free to use one of those video filters. You got some ears, have a costume, anything you're ready to showcase, please, of course, that's welcome as well. And as we're getting settled, if you don't mind, if you want to put in your name, your district, and what state you're in, that would be great, so we can get to know each other. Oh, I see someone in Miami. Ooh, that's awesome. Hello, welcome, welcome. And wait, or if you want to take yourself off of mute, you can always introduce yourself that way as well. All right, and we'll just getting started. We're letting a few more people come on in, and then we'll go ahead and get started with our Python coding event. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are in the country. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. All right. Great. Thank you all. How's everybody's week been? Are we ready for Halloween? No, not yet. I'm with you. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone, and we'll just get ready. Oh, Anne says it was 27 degrees this morning in Utah. Wow. Now that's chilly. Ooh. Up to 45. Okay. All right. And are we ready to get started? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone once again for joining us for Skillstruck's Python Coding Spectacular. We're very excited to have you all here this afternoon and join us today for today's event. My name is Danae Hughes. I am a partnership manager based out of Houston, Texas. And I'm here to just kind of host and get us going before the leader or the facilitator of our workshop today will be Jai Barrier, our very own Jai. We're very excited to have her join us and teach everyone today. So there are just a few housekeeping items that I want to make mention of before we jump into today's lesson. This event is being recorded. So you will have access to it after if you want to review it, if you want to look at it later, anything you want, you'll be able to go ahead and get a recording of this today. PD certificates will be available upon request. So in the email, you just have to send me an email and I will be happy to get those out to you. The coding link that we will be using, it will be active for the next 2 weeks. So feel free to jump in and continue on what you've learned from today's concepts. And there are many people here in the chat to help you as Jai goes forward with her lesson. So if you have any questions, get hung up on anything, please let us know. And somebody from our customer success team will be able to help with that. Okay, and I think that's it. So I am now going to turn it over to our lovely host, Jai Barrier.
I've been wanting to do that the whole time. Hello, everyone. I'm Jai Barrier. I will be assisting you today. Well, I will be teaching you today some Python. Let me go ahead and bring up my screen. One moment. And so as we are learning Python today, everybody can see this? Awesome, lovely. Okay, so I'm Jai. I am currently in Houston, Texas. I've been with Skillstruck since about June of last year, and I'm loving it. And in my path, I've actually started to learn some Python. I've used, many different types of resources, but the main resource that I have used actually has been Skillstruck. So we're going to learn some Python. Python, what is it? It is the back-end, one of our back-end programs that programmers use in order to, make some cool programs. A lot of people do use it because it is the closest one to English. So a lot of other coding languages are a little bit difficult, but Python is similar to English. So here is that link. Once you go ahead and click that link, you will see an option right here where you put your first, last name, language, and your email. Once we have done that, you will go ahead and get to a screen that looks like this. Is everybody at the screen? Is there any questions? Do we need to pause? Okay, good, awesome. So now we're here on our platform. So here is our platform. You'll see automatically that there will be 3 columns. We have our first column, which is our textbook. Over here, we can open and close it. Our middle column will be our code editor. We'll close it, open it. And on the far right, we have our preview, our terminal. You can open and close it. So before I start, I want to ask, how well do you guys know Python? If y'all can give me a novice, an intermediate expert, you can go ahead and put that in the chat. You can also, if you ever want to speak, you can go ahead and put questions in the chat room, or you can raise your hand on it's a raise your hand button motion, or we'll just hear you. So how many people do we have? Do we have like the novice? Let me check the chat and see what we have. Novice, okay. Okay, so look, we have fairly new people, which is good. And I plan to take it nice and slow so we all can learn. Great. Okay, so today we're actually creating a MadLibs generator with Python. Everybody knows what a MadLib generator is. We've used it when we were growing up. We even probably give it to kids still now. So let me show you a MadLib of what we're going to create. This is exactly what it looks like. Some print statements. We have some variables and inputs. And this is what we're basically going to create. So let me go ahead and give you a quick example of what it would look like. So we're asking what our first objective, your adjective, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and put one in there large. First name, let's just put James. We'll just put small. And now we'll put McDonald. How about that? Verb, jump. So this information right here that you're seeing pop up is the information right here. It is going directly in order as it asks the question. Next, we got as a verb and then ing. Name a president. I should know all of them, but I really don't. So let me do Bill. I know Bill. How about that? Oh, so we have printed out our MadLibs. So it says, spooky stories by Count Skill Spooky. They all say my school is haunted. My large talking rabbit James said he saw a small McDonald's floating at the end of a hall near the cafeteria. Some say if you jump down the hallway at night, you'll hear a wild dancing Bill Clinton. That looks so real. Sign scary chance. Now, I don't know about you, but if I saw Bill Clinton dancing, I'd be a little scared. Okay, where's the security? So let's get into that. So go here. Oops. Okay, so before we even start anything when it comes to Python, we have to create a file. Please, let's go to the middle. You'll go up here and then you'll see where it says new file. Let's click new file. Now, this is a very important step because since you're doing Python, it has to be a Python file. Right now, it automatically shows as HTML. You click here, we change it to Python. You can name this anything you like. So I'm just going to name this one Code Event. This is where I'm going to put my final project that we're going to do at the end. You're going to save it. Boom, it's empty. It's just nothing there. Okay, lovely. So now let's start running. So you're going to actually see a lot of these hashtags and kind of orange words throughout. This is just a comment. This really doesn't do anything to the code at all. It's just giving you information. It's very important when it comes to programming because as I program, sometimes I need to know exactly which part of the code am I, editing. Or if some other code programmers come in, we need to know exactly what we're looking at. So you're just going to see a lot of this so I can teach you guys. So let's go ahead and go over to our textbook. You saw I clicked down, we click Python, Python 1. So today what we're actually going to go over is going to be our print statement and variables, concatenation, data type, input and output, and then we're going to create a MadLib. I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise just this little bit of knowledge will help you create a program. I promise. So let's start in the introduction section and let's scroll down. We already covered what Python is. It's basically a back-end programming that we have for all kind of software. It's the nuts and the bolts. It's the foundation. So there also are some basic rules of Python. So we have line order. Basically, that means from top to bottom. The code will be read from top to bottom. White space, as though you can see variable 1 versus variable space 1, those are two different things. That is completely two different things. And case sensitive, as though you can see right here, print with the lowercase p versus print with a capital P, these are two different things as well. So let's talk about the print statement. What is the print statement? The print statement is the output of what the user sees on the console, what we see. But how do we do it? So let's all try to do this right here together. So when you need a print statement, you need to make sure that it is lowercase, print. It comes up blue, and then you need your parentheses. That is the basic stuff that you really do need for a print statement. All the extra stuff that we're about to do now, we're going to change. So let's go ahead and make a comment. Let's go ahead and print out something. So what we're going to do is quotes. The quotes you saw me put in is about to create a string. I am going to eventually explain what strings are in data types, but a string is basically text. Let's think of it as quotes. Like if we're talking all the time, if I quote somebody, what I'm going to do? I'm going to put quotes. So let's think of that as text. So let's go ahead and print hello world. Hit run. And it prints. Lovely. Let me go ahead and clear that terminal. Boom. Hello world. Now, what I mean by case sensitive, let's go ahead and put a capital P and let's run. It doesn't work. So right there, that automatically proves that case is very case sensitive. So let's go ahead and put this down as a lower P. Now on your own, let's go ahead and print some different print statements. Print, parentheses, quote, hey y'all. So now it's going to print hello world and hey y'all. So let me show you line order. Let's go ahead and put this above that. Clear the terminal. Hey y'all, hello world. That right there shows you that line sensitive and it's case sensitive. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, lovely. What I'm going to do is comment that out so we can go ahead and get to the next part. So let's go ahead and get to variables. What is a variable, you say? A variable, is an identifier. It's a building block for programming that is basically a holding box for different data types. So let's think of your name. So we have our name. That's what the box is going to be called, name. Let's do that right, name. And in that name, in that box name, I want to put all different kinds. I want to put Jai in there. No, I want to put Sam in there. No, let's put Ann. So that is what a holding box is. It's something that we can change any kind of data we want to put in. But there is some rules when it comes to variables. So let's look at the first set of rules. Must either be one word or connected with underscores. That means name equals Jai, one word, or underscores. Let's be a little bit more specific. First underscore name equals Jai. Now, what happens if I do first? First name equals Jai. This right here is incorrect. If I were to print this right now, this would be an error. It looks weird. I mean, we should put an underscore. That just looks, that looks better. So let's continue. I'm going to comment that out. And let's go to the second rule. So a variable must start with a letter or an underscore character. It cannot start with the number and no special characters are allowed. So let's go ahead and put some valid variables. So it said it must start with the letter. So you can start it as small as a one letter. A equals apple. And then it says an underscore. Let's do underscore apple equals apple. But it says it can't start with the number. Let's try that. 3 John. Well, you see, it looks a little weird, right? So it doesn't want to start with the number because numbers are used for mathematical. If you try to start it off as a variable, it's not going to think it as a variable. It's going to think of it as a mathematical number. And then also it says it cannot start with special characters. We're going to leave these special characters for other parts of the program. So that just basically makes sense why we don't do it. So let's go ahead and remove that. So how do we print a variable? So let's go ahead and print A is apple and underscore apple. Let's do our print statement. And so last time what we did is that we did parentheses, we did quotation marks, which was for a string. Now we want to print a variable and the information inside that variable. What do you think we do? So what we do is we put A. We print A, which is that variable. Beautiful. It went ahead and print apple. So let's go ahead and put underscore apple. And let's change this to apple 1. What's going to happen? It's going to print whatever is inside that variable. So we can change this variable as many times as we like. And it's going to print whatever I put inside that variable. Okay, and so what's the difference between print car and print car? So let me go ahead and remove this real quick. So we have print car, and then we have print car. You probably can see the difference already. The first one is a string, and this will only print out the word car. Let's go ahead and show. Now, if we wanted to comment this out and print car, what is going to happen? It gives me an error. I wonder why. It gives me error because right now, car, there's no variable for car. So what is it going to print? It's going to print nothing. So we make sure we have to declare that variable, and we're going to put a bin, you know, because that's what I drive in my dreams. And we're going to print a bin. Beautiful. So I've already showed you some rules of variable. I showed you how to print a variable, and I showed you that line order matters. Do we have any questions at this moment? Okay, lovely. Okay, so now we have a question. Can we combine variables? Sure we can. We sure can combine them. 1 second. So with combining them, this is called concatenation. I know that's a big word. Sometimes I can't ever say it. It just never comes right. Sometimes I'm like, you know, it just never comes out. So concatenation basically means let's put variables together, but how? So let's go ahead and create some variables. We're just going to create one called car equals red. And I'm going to make one called new underscore car equals blue. Now, how do we combine this? Now, there is simple ways to combine it, and it's not really that hard. So let's try a different way. So let's print. Let's try car, new car. Do you think this will work? Let's see. No, it's telling us it's invalid syntax. So what am I missing? Add. If we want to add variables together, we have to add an add sign. So let's go ahead and put add. Oh, hold up. It looks a little weird still. It's showing you says red, blue, but it's all one word. I kind of want it to be separate. So how do I put a space in between? So this is where I'm going to show you that white space does matter. So if I want a space in between red and blue, there's two different ways, and there's multiple ways we can do it. I'm going to show you a very simple one. We're going to do a space right here, which is red space. Let's run. We have a space in between red and blue. So let me go ahead and remove that, and let's go ahead and put a space before the word blue, and let's see if that works as well. That does work. Now, what if I put a space before blue and after red? It's a little bit bigger. So that shows you that white space matters, even when it's in the side of the quotation. Every little space matters when it comes to Python. It is very picky. So let's switch up the order, and let's see what happens if you switch it up. New car plus car. Blue, red. Why? Because the spaces were not in the right area. Lovely. Any questions? Okay, so we learned how we can print variables right here, but can we print a variable when there's already words right here, right? Words right here. So how can I add these variables to this already print statement? Let's go ahead and try this out. Plus car. Words right here, red. Okay, so that's how we do it. It looks like it's working. And it's also recognizing that space. Let me go ahead and remove that space. And then you see when I removed it, it says here red. Now say if I didn't want to put a space in between. Here's a little trick. This may be a little, a little complicated. Some people may be confused. But what I did was just add a space in between the print statement. So if I run this, now we have words right here, red. This is important because this is what we're going to use in order to make our ad-lib. Any questions about that? Okay, lovely. Okay, so real quick, what different data types do we have? We have, let me go over here to our variable types. At any time, if anybody knows Python a little bit more and they want to go ahead of time and read through the textbook, go ahead and take your time and do that. I may just be going a little slow for you, but go and have fun. Okay, stereotypes. What different stereotypes do we have? We have a string, which I've talked about many of times, which is quote and text. You see right here, name is equals age. Then we have an integer. age equals 22. You will see that this has no quotes. Quotes only go with string. When you want an integer, you think of a number. Think of an integer and float. These are numbers. Then we have Boolean, which I'm really not going to talk about much. Hungry equals true. This is very true. I am very hungry. And as soon as we finish, I will eat. Okay. All righty. So let's continue. A string. A string is a text value. So like I stated before, name equals Jai. That is a string. Simple. And if you want to print it out, print name. We printed a string. So let's go ahead and print an integer and a float. An integer, if you want to think of an integer, just think of it as a whole number. A float is a whole number with a decimal point. You know, that number just floating out over there. So I guess that's what they thought. They was like, that number just floating over there. Okay, so let's do an integer. It also is referred to as int. That is what an integer is in Python. So we'll do age equals 22 on a good day. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how old I am. And then we're gonna do age equals, let me put some months on there. Oops, you see I did something wrong, y'all. I made that a string. We're not supposed to make it a string, it needs to show up green. And then age equals, let's do 22.8. This is a float, and that is an integer at the top. Any questions about that? Pretty simple. Okay, cool. So, where's that right there? Okay, so when it comes to addition, it is very simple. Let's just do age, you know, we can just do 5. And you could do new year. You could just do that 7. And then you could do print. How do you do addition? I mean, we're all, teachers, we know how to do this. This is simple. We're not going to spend too much long on this. You know, that's what you do. You run it. Okay, 12. Okay, it'll be the same thing. If you want to do subtraction, I'm just going to copy and paste this because it's just simple. Run it. We get our -2. And then we're going to put that right there, and we're going to get our multiplication. Jive 35. It's saying jive because there's a print statement up here. Remember, line order matters. So I need, where is this print statement coming from? It's coming from all the way up here. All righty. And then division is simple as well. Boom. So that is how we do math when it comes to Python. Very simple. And lastly, it's time for us to do our input and output. Do we have any questions before we get into this? This input output is going to be what's going to make our MadLib. Any questions? Okay. All right. So input and output. Let me go ahead and get that here. Okay. What is an input and what is an output? Input. Basically, it is inviting the user to give a response. So if you want to sit there and ask the user any kind of question, or this is what a lot of games use or a lot of forms. If you see some forms, what they do, they have a form where it says first name, you put your first name, the second name, you say last name, you put your last name, et cetera, et cetera. They're using input. And then the output is what we're going to see, is what is going to, just be displayed. So let's go ahead and work on an input statement. So we're going to ask the user, what is their name? So how do we do that? Well, it's simple. Input, just like the word we said, input. And then we want to ask it a question. If we want to ask it a question, what do you think we use if we need to ask it a question? We need to use some string. A string is text. We want them to see some text in order to respond. So I'm going to say, what is your age? Then I'm going to print age. What do you think happened? Let's see. You see that pop-up box? Okay, good. It says, what is your age? So it's asking me exactly what I put in this variable and within this string. So let's go ahead and put an age. I'll go ahead and say I'm 87 today. That's my bones for this. Okay, 87. There we go. So 87, it input it exactly what I asked it. So what if I just want to make it simple? Age, run, it says it. And then when you put the answer, it puts it exactly right here in our terminal, in our preview. So let's go ahead and ask a few questions. Let's go ahead and go on your end. Let's go ahead and ask a few questions for ourselves. Let's go ahead and say first underscore name equals input, parentheses. Then we're going to have our quotes. And we're going to ask, what is your first name? Now I'm going to close this off. I'm going to remove that. I want to run it. What is your name? Let's go ahead and put Joe. Oh, it didn't put anything. Well, let's try one more time. I wonder what's going on. Jojo. There's no print statement. That's why. So we need to make sure that print statement is there in order for your input to display its output. So let's go ahead and say we want to print our first name. Joe, and it prints. Lovely. So let's go ahead and concatenate, add this variable to an already statement. So what I mean by that, let's go ahead and do print. Let's do some quote. My name is. So I'm going to just not put that space there so you guys can see again about how important that space is. White spaces, plus sign, and then first underscore name. Let's run that. Jojo. It's going to print Jojo, and then my name is Jojo. Okay, so you see that it is, of course, connected. What's the issue? Let's fix that. The issue is right here. Boom. We need to go ahead and put that space right there. Hit run. I'm going to put Job Boogie. My name is Job Boogie. There we go. So this is very important when it comes to our MadLib. Now guess what? It's time for our MadLib. Do we have any questions before we go ahead and get into this MadLib? No questions? Okay, that means I'm doing pretty good so far, and I'm talking slow enough. That's good. So I am going to go to code event, which is the file that I made earlier in the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and close this off because I want more space. Remember, you always have that opportunity to close it off. And I just want actually to have my code editor just here so we can just, let's work on this. Let's see how we're going to work it. So there's many ways to start your MadLib. What I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to start with the sentence because I just want to build it out first. I just want to have a foundation of what my MadLib is going to be. So let's say this year for Halloween, and this is not how we're going to print it out or anything. This is just me, doing some brainstorming while I work. I will dress up as a or an. Okay, I think I want to put an adjective right here. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna put a space right here. Let's put a space. Okay, and I'm gonna put an animal. Okay, I already had this set up, you guys, so that's what I'm looking at. My brain is not this, fast. I'm gonna be honest with you. Then an exclamation mark, and then please have the $sign. I want to put a number here. And then prize ready. Okay, so this is exactly what my MadLib is going to be. This year for Halloween, I will dress up as an adjective, as animal, exclamation mark. Please have the $sign, number, prize ready. So let's go ahead and create this. So there's many different ways you can start. I'm going to just start off with my variables. So the first variable I have is going to be an adjective. We know it's going to be an input statement. So I'm going to put input. And this is just something I do quickly. No, just something quickly. I recommend you always tell your students to write it out, but I'm just going to do this quickly. Input. And I know I'm going to have to ask for each variable. The next one is going to be animal. And then the next one, the last one will be number. Those are our variables. That's going to be for our print statement in our MadLib. I also want to put at the top, let me go ahead and print a nice little code event. Spooky story. Okay, that is what's going to show at the top. That is going to be the title of my MadLib. Go ahead and create your title of your MadLib. Let's go ahead and put print, parentheses, quotes at the top. Give it a nice name. I may towards the end ask for some MadLibs, and you don't have to do mine, but let's try to be a little creative. See what you got. Okay, so I've already created my variables. Next, we need to go ahead and create that print statement. So we're going to go ahead and do lowercase p, because a capital P, we already know that doesn't work at all. And then we're going to use quotes. Why? Because we want to print out some text. We're going to print out a string. We want to print out some words. So let's go ahead and copy this down. This year for Halloween, I will dress up as a Scorpion. I'm not going to put a space because I want to make sure you guys see how important it is. Plus sign. It looks as though we're going to put our first adjective. Now, this is very case sensitive. If I was to put in a capital ADJ, that would not work because that's not how the variable looks. It's kind of like if you see, mock it. It's got to be identical. So ADJ plus, we have a space right there. Because since I have two variables together, I'm going to put a space in between. Because I'm not going to sit there and tell the user, hey, before you put in your words, can you please put a space in before or put a space afterwards? That's just doing too much. Let's go ahead and do that ourselves. So that's our space plus. Then we have an animal as our next variable here, and our next variable here. And then we're going to do plus. So now this is the rest of the text. Let's go ahead and concatenate some text in between. Please have the $sign plus. We got to close that off because we're going to add a variable. Number plus prize. Ready. Exclamation mark. Lovely. So we have created it. There are going to be some errors, and I did that intentionally. So that way we can see how white space matters. Oh, invalid syntax. What's going on? This right here. It's trying to read it. Let's go ahead and comment it out. Trust me, we all make mistakes. Programs make mistakes all the time. So this is perfect. Oh gosh, it says, what is it saying? Something was wrong. We forgot to put our text in. Man, this programming. Don't you gotta love it? So for the first one we're gonna put is place an adjective. I can spell today. Then I wanna do place an animal. And then the last one I'm gonna put place a number. Now this should work, right? It should now. Let's clear this out and run. There we go. Here's our text, place an adjective. Let's go ahead and put blue. An animal, let's go ahead and put a monkey, because that's exactly what I want. I want a monkey, you guys, and I'm gonna get one. His name's gonna be James. And we wanna place a number. Let's do 78. Okay, this year for Halloween, I will dress up as a blue monkey. Please have the $78 prize ready. We can see that there's something wrong with it, right? Because it's all jumbled. And that's exactly why I made sure I left it there so you can see white space matters. So let's look at the first error. A and N. We need a space right here. So let's look here. Ah, we did forget a space. Let's put that space right there. What's next? Right after blue. Oh, right after AN. Okay, we did that. Blue monkey looks good. Please have the 78. Okay. After 8, we need a space. Let me see. So that means, okay, so after 8, we need a space, meaning that before prize, we need a space. Ah, and then that looks like it should be about right. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear this out. Place an adjective. Let's do large. Animal. Let's do parrot, because I plan on buying my mom a parrot this year. They're expensive if you didn't know that. And place the number. No, I'm winning some big money today. Okay, this year for Halloween, I will dress up as a large parrot. Please have that $2,000 ready, prize ready. Oh, so awesome. You guys, we went through so many different concepts, and you guys have actually created your first Python program, which is a MadLib generator. It's a very easy concept. Trust me, Python does get a little bit, a little tricky later on, but I wanted to just to prove to you that very little Python can generate a working program. So I would say that that is the end of my presentation today. Do you have any questions? And as well, I want to see what you guys have created so we can see. Anybody want to share what they created? Any takers? Okay, I know I was a little shy. I know I'm shy too. But do you have any questions? I may have went over it a little fast. iPhone. Okay. Adjective, place an adjective. Okay. All righty. Well, again, I'm Jai. I'm supposed to be Tina Turner. That's what this is, and a pig. But it was amazing teaching you guys. And if you ever have any questions, I'm always here. And it was great. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna sound it off to Danae.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Jai. Thank you so much, Jai, for leading that workshop and teaching us all the ins and outs of Python and making our own MadLibs. I cannot wait to be playing around with that and using that with my family and just doing it for myself. So I'm really excited about that. Once again, thank you all for joining us. We will send out this recording as well as some Python cheat sheets and things like that that you can use for your students in your classroom. We will also have that coding playground link. It will be included. It will be open and available for 2 weeks. Please, and I'll also, excuse me, we also have many events that are upcoming soon. We have an event, HTML event here in November, as well as our prep events for CS Ed Week. So please take a look at that as well. And we hope to see you soon. I think that's it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Happy Halloween.